Mansukh and Himmat had grown up together as close friends. They shared their problems as well as their pleasures. They were more like brothers than friends. Each had started his own business and had to travel a lot. So, they often traveled together. That way, they could enjoy each other's company without neglecting the demands of their business. Once they had to travel to a far-away place. Their path took them through a desert. In those days, there were no buses and railways. People often traveled on foot. The two friends started early, and the journey began quite happily. They passed the time by singing songs and telling each other jokes and riddles. After some time, they began to feel the heat of the strong desert sun. The songs and jokes stopped, and they became rather quiet. Then they began to talk about the problems they had to face in their respective business activities and ventures. Somehow, without either friend realizing what was happening, they got into an argument. The argument turned into a verbal battle, with neither giving quarter to the other. Words became weapons and sparks flew. Mansukh lost his head and slapped Himmat hard. Himmat was stunned. He couldn't believe that his best friend had treated him so badly. He walked on without a word, frowning. He felt hurt, and however hard he tried, he couldn't get over that feeling. At last he stopped and wrote in the sand with his stick. "My best friend slapped me today." Mansukh, too, was ashamed of what he had done. He read what Himmat had written, but continued to walk on. The silence between the two friends was as unbearable as the heat of the blazing sun. Fortunately for them, however, they soon came to the end of the first lap of their journey. They had their food, rested for a while, and started off once again. They didn't speak to each other. Now they were like strangers traveling together. Their route now lay along a big lake. How would they have enjoyed this part of the journey? But as things stood, they both felt miserable. Their hearts were heavy and steps slow. In this part of the land there was a patch of quicksand. Unwittingly, Himmat stepped into it. As the sand slipped from under his feet, he realized what had happened. He panicked and made frantic efforts to get out of the quicksand. This only made him sink further in the sand. By now, Mansukh too had realized what had happened. The ill feelings vanished in a flash. He pulled out a long, thick rope out of their luggage and threw one end of it to Himmat. All this while, he tried to reassure his friend with kind words. Himmat caught the rope and held on to it. Slowly, carefully, and courageously, Mansukh pulled Himmat out of the dangerous area. The friends embraced each other. Their fight was now left far behind. Warm feelings surged up within them as the pleasant evening breeze blew. A little further they came upon some stones. Himmat stopped once again and began to carve something. Mansukh watched curiously. When he finished, Mansukh saw these words, "My best friend saved my life today." "Friend," said Mansukh, "I don't understand this. When I slapped you, you wrote it in sand, but this deed of mine you carve in stone. Why is that all?" "It's quite simple," Himmat replied. "This is the way you should deal with your feelings. You should write about your hurt in sand. Then winds of forgiveness can wipe out your hurts. The slapping incident was not worth remembering, but I will never forget that you saved my life today. It is permanently carved in my memory, and no winds can blow it off."